As you're starting out in futures, or if you just made the jump from options to futures, it might feel a little bit confusing getting a hold on what you can trade when you're trading futures, because the names are different or the codes are different. So for example, if you trade the SPY in options, that's not the same thing in futures. In futures, the SPY is called ES. NASDAQ or QQQ is called NQ. Not only that, but there's such thing as minis. So a certain amount of risk when you're trading ES or NASDAQ, it's more risk per point that, or per dollar that it goes up and down. Whereas you can decrease your risk and have more control and trade more smaller contracts when you trade the micros. So if you look at this list right here on My Funded Futures, it's going to show you all the things you can trade, aka the instruments you can trade. And you can see that there's many things you can trade, and most of the brokers trade similar instruments, but you can trade currencies. Here is the NASDAQ and the Russell and SPY, for example, that I mentioned. And you can trade stranger things like hogs and cattle and things of that nature. But you can also trade micro. So take a look. You can trade micro Bitcoin, micro NASDAQ, micro Russell. All that means is the tick value, or when the amount, the dollar amount of that underlying instrument goes up and down, it's a difference of this amount right here. So for example, on NQ, every time it goes up by 0.25, it goes up by $5. Or as I like to think about it, every time it goes up a full dollar amount, it goes up $20. Whereas in micros, it's a tenth of that. So you can control how much risk or how many contracts you want to play with, right? So for example, NQ goes up by 10 points or down by 10 points, it's a $200 swing. Whereas let's say you're just trading one micro, it's a $20 swing. So you can control your risk a lot better by using micros. As you can see, some people like trading precious metals. There's right here like gold and silver, also the micro option right here. And you can see tick values, right? $10 per tick, whereas it's $1 per tick if you trade the micros. A lot of people also like trading things like crude oil, but you can get a little frisky and trade things like corn and soybeans and soybean oil, etc., etc. But something that I want to show you, which is important, if you're looking at NASDAQ, right, there's a lot of volume. You can see that the candles look clean. The candles have long wicks on either side, and they're moving around, especially if you go to like a longer time frame, right? And don't mind these lines I was drawing on the chart. I was just trying to test out something about trend lines this morning. But if you look at NASDAQ, right, those are healthy looking candles or voluminous looking candles. Whereas if we now go to corn, for example, you're going to see that these candles don't look the same, especially if you go on a smaller time frame. There's very little movement in these candles. So what that means is you're going to be stuck staring at candles a whole lot if you're trading some of these instruments that don't have a lot of volume. But anyhow, I'm going to include the link to this help article on My Funded Futures so you can take a look for yourself. And if you want to use My Funded Futures, please use the discount code SIMBOSLICE. It should be appearing on screen right now. If you use that discount code, you're going to get 5% off whatever plan that you choose. And you also, in turn, help out the channel. You help me out a little bit for using my link. So I hope that this has helped you. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will reply to you. So good luck and happy trading.